All right, so we're calling the Douglas Finance Committee meeting to order. 7:01 on January 23. We'll take a roll call vote for attendance. So Sandy, why don't you start?
Sandy Kuipers, Finance Committee.
Lynn Mazzoli, Finance Committee.
Dick Vandenberg, Finance.
Michael Hutnack, Finance Committee.
Heather Moran, Finance Committee.
Okay, anybody else on Zoom, FinCom?
I don't think so.
All right, so we have our quorum. So we'll begin, and we're going to change the agenda a little bit, everybody, for a transfer from reserve fund. So Jean, you want to explain to us what's going on?
The Board of Health is here tonight,
Okay,
and Bruce is also here to explain.
so let's do Board of Health first.
They're one and the same.
Yep, so Bruce is here to
Okay,
help explain.
Hello.
so identify yourself for the record.
Kristen Harris, Board of Health.
And Bruce?
I'm Bruce Haskell with Lang Environmental, the engineer for the town landfill.
Okay. Why don't you start?
So the landfill was capped back in the late 80s,
Right.
and the purpose of the cap is to keep the rainwater from infiltrating into the waste. And over the years, it starts to settle. So we do have some settling that was found during the third-party inspection we had, which gets reported to DEP, and it needs to be fixed. So that's where we're at right now,
And the amount requested is 4,400?
4,400.
Okay. Bruce, you want to speak to it?
Yes, I'm the engineer working with the Board of Health on the landfill, and the area is actually ponded, which, has been reported to DEP, requires repair, as Kristen said, out there. The $4,400 is really to get some initial survey, initial ideas of what has to happen out there, and some cost, some sense of the cost of that, and to move that forward, to sort of move forward to whatever next step might be out there. I think so.
So, Bruce, if we spend this money and it gets done, what will possibly be the next step after that might cost us to spend some more money? Is this going to take care of it for a while, or what's your sense?
No, this is really just to find out the level of the problem out there, if you will. The next step would be to actually, it's probably going to require a permit from DEP to fix the problem. And so the solution most likely is to import some soil to sort of take that depressed area and raise its grade so it drains out there. And then I think once we have an idea from this work and a good look at it, what has to be done, then we'll figure out, what that, is it, how much yardage of soil has to come in, how are we going to do that? Is there a way we can work within the town to get that work done? I mean, the town did, Kristen, maybe 5 years ago, maybe more, had a similar issue on another corner of the landfill and repaired it, with, much smaller area, and repaired it themselves to get the grade to go off. So I think this is really just to understand what's the grading, because it could be almost an acre of area that's ponded right now. It's out there.
Is this typical with the caps of landfills like ours? Does this happen often? Is this unusual?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, so the landfill caps, when the town did their cap in accordance with approved plans, had a 2% slope. In other words, it dropped 1 foot in every 50 feet of run out there. Because this problem was coming up, they now made it a 5% slope. So it's a 2.5 times steeper slope now is the minimum that you can have on landfills to try to avoid this problem out there. Unfortunately, your landfill had been capped in accordance with those older rules out there. So it's not uncommon. And if you think about it, it doesn't take much if there's a clay layer below it for water to pond on, because it doesn't naturally infiltrate into the waste area there.
Questions or comments, anybody?
You said this happened before in another area?
Yes.
And what was about the
Behind
approximate,
transfer station.
what was the
Sorry.
approximate cost when we repaired it before? Do you remember?
I don't know, because it was a small area. It was more of a swale, a drainage ditch that had a problem that was just sort of fixed, I believe, by the town highway department,
Okay.
working with the Board of Health. out there to do it. It wasn't a huge, I don't think it was a huge cost item, you know, an appropriation kind of cost item, if I recall. Unless, Kristen, do you remember anything about that? I
No.
don't remember that.
No,
I
we
don't have a
didn't,
good
the
answer.
town just fixed it.
And
Yeah,
we
but it
could
was a
fix
small
this one
area.
too, once it's assessed?
Yeah, well, see, this is like an acre of land. That was just like a small area that could be fixed more easily.
Okay,
This
all right.
is a bigger problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also that area, the first area was accessible easily from the back of the transfer station. This is all the way across on the other side of the landfill, so there's some, you know, just getting across to that area there.
Okay.
So if the money gets approved, will the work be done pretty soon, or you wait till winter is done? I mean,
What do you think, Bruce?
Well, we would wait till winter, and I think, as I mentioned, there's probably a DEP permit process, which just takes some time to generate out there. But again, we need to have a sense of what has to be done out there, and then we can, have some conversations with DEP about what their specific requirements are. In my experience, they have required like a permit submittal for things like this out there, that have had repairs like this in other towns, landfills.
Okay, any questions or comments, anybody?
I got a few. As part of the cap, so what's involved with that? Is it just a clay layer of soil? Is there some type of a rubber or plastic membrane that's over the top of it? Or, I'm just wondering if it's settled, if there is some type of membrane, is there any risk of a puncture or tear on that would have to be repaired?
This landfill was capped before membranes came into common use out
Okay.
there. A couple of years before, I did one of the first membrane projects in the state, and that was in 1990, and this was the late 80s. So it's a clay cap. I believe it's 12 inches thick, and please don't quote me on this exactly, out there, overlaid by a topsoil layer out there. The good thing about the clay is that it's a soil, so it's more forgiving.
Yeah.
You can mold it, so to speak, out there than a membrane might be out, to some kind of large-scale settlement out if there's a problem like that.
Okay, all right.
Heather, do you have any questions?
I think you're muted, Heather.
Still muted?
About that.
There you go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It has to be done, right? So it's a must-pay bill in my book, so.
Okay. Anybody else?
One more question. If you had to look into a crystal ball and guess, could you come up with a number? Just
Jean's over there shaking her head.
We don't have crystal balls in Douglas.
well, just
A bowling ball.
a bowling ball, something.
So once you submit your requests to the DEP, how long does that process usually take before you hear an answer from them?
It could take several months, depending on how. I mean, the central region DEP is pretty good in this region about turning around permits out there, and I think we would want to do it at a time when we could replant grass easily, out there. Obviously, not today, but also more towards the summer when it's drier. I think it's definitely it's easier just to not make a mess out there and things. So that would be the preference. But again, we'd have to see what we could go to there and things. So I think to answer your question, I don't have a good number because I don't know how it's based on how much material you would be importing. But I think we would try really hard to work with the town to identify ways to do it without a publicly bid contract where you're buying 5,000 yards of soil and paying a contract, the premium kind of contractor out there to get it fixed and things like that. But maybe that's what has to, maybe if it's at a certain scale, that's what has to happen out there to get it done and things. So I don't have a great number for you, but because I think we're going to try to figure out ways to get it done as inexpensively as possible.
Thank you.
Welcome, Howard.
Thank you.
Let the record show Howard D'Amico has arrived at 7:11 PM. So we're talking about money to look into some issues that have come at the town landfill.
Okay.
Anybody else? You have a final comment or question? Jean, anything?
No, I just want to reiterate, this is just to explore what the problem is.
Yeah.
And there would be a subsequent, depending on, what the number comes in, there'd be a subsequent appropriation to fix the problem.
So the request, everybody, is for $4,400. So the request is hereby made for the following transfer from the reserve fund, in accordance with Chapter 40, Section 6 of the Mass General Laws, for $4,400 to be transferred to landfill maintenance for the work to be done as described. So
So
any
moved.
questions on that?
Yeah, no.
So would somebody make that motion?
Yeah, so moved.
So Sandy moves as presented.
Second.
Mike seconds. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Oh, hold it, we got to do roll call because we're zooming, so.
Okay.
Sandy?
Sandy Kuiper's aye?
Lynn Mazzulli, aye.
Howard D'Amico, aye.
Dick Vandenberg, aye.
Michael Hutnak, aye.
Motion
Good
carries.
morning.
Oh, Heather, sorry.
That's the Zoom part.
Okay, I think it's unanimous, all right.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thank you very
sign
much.
these, Right, okay.
Thank you.
Do-
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Do all the people have to sign?
We usually have them.
Okay. All right.
Good night. Be safe. Be safe.
So I'm going to send this around everybody and just,
There's triplicates, there's 3.
yep.
When you're done.
Oh, change that number to 6, Mike, at the bottom where it says number of people voting, change it to 6, yeah. I think we need 2 more of you to sign, right? So Howard, Matt is not here tonight. He is sick,
Okay,
and he's not able to Zoom.
okay.
So we're going to do his discussion, we hope, in February 13th. Because that's our next meeting, so,
February 13th.
yeah.
Did we change that date?
I don't think so. Got a pen on you, Howard? Could you
Oh, got
scribble
it.
at the bottom, please?
Schedule.
I will not
Yeah, but I
be here.
don't think,
On the 13th.
I will not be here either.
On the 13th?
No.
Oh, did that one,
That's when I'm going to be gone, too,
Yeah.
so
Shall we switch that date,
that goes our quorum right there, I think.
right? Mike,
I-
do you want to be like multiple personalities that
Yeah.
night?
Gene, if we waited till the 27th of Feb, would we be stuck?
I think that's way too late.
We go Feb 20,
can we do a week before?
Feb
Well,
6?
the board meets alternate
Oh,
for you.
I thought our meeting, because when I scheduled my vacation, I thought our meeting was on the 6th.
The board of selectmen meets the 1st and 3rd.
Really?
The 2nd and 4th.
Okay, well, that's a good thing for us to talk about right now.
Okay, yep.
Now, there is.
Sandy, are you out that full week,
Yes, yes,
as am I?
yes,
Dick, are
I'm
you
here
out
the
that full
6th.
week? Yeah, right. So can we pick,
Could we do it on the 6th and meet in the little room over there?
Well,
We need Matt.
The board of selectmen.
Oh, Matt, it's
well, we'll take him first, and then if he's got any extra time, he can meet with them.
The 30th is open next Tuesday. The board is not
True,
meeting.
true.
what's next Tuesday?
The board is
30th.
not meeting next week. I don't
So
know.
January 30.
I don't know who's available. I don't even know if Matt's available.
Sandy, are you around on the 30th?
Yes,
'Cause
yes,
I'm
I
gone.
am.
We're gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Starting, so,
So you'll be gone on the
The 30th?
30th?
yeah. Are you around on the 30th?
I could be available on the 30th.
I can as well.
I can.
No.
So,
Heather, would you be around for the 30th?
February?
No,
January.
January. Next Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes.
What about Carol?
Well,
She was supposed to
that's
Zoom
five.
tonight, but she
That's
had,
5 real
That's
quick,
fine.
right?
yeah. Shall we do that?
Who's our vice chair, Sandy? So Sandy Kuipers will be chairing the meeting.
Yes, yes, I will.
So we should probably,
Practice.
we would probably just cancel our meeting February 13th,
13th.
right? Because so many will be gone.
I make a motion to cancel our meeting of February
I
13th.
second that motion.
Agreed.
With the understanding of January 30, Howard, or not?
One at a time.
I don't know if we need a motion to cancel a meeting. do we?
I don't know, I bet, it wouldn't surprise me if we do.
Can't we just do it by consensus?
No, you gotta do a motion.
What's that,
You have
Heather?
Heather
Right?
says you have to do a motion.
I have
Because
to do
it-
it by him up.
Okay,
Because it's already on a calendar somewhere, right? Yeah,
all right, so Howard moved and Sandy seconded, right? That we
Correct, yeah.
Cancel our meeting of February 13th.
Right.
So all in favor, say, oh, roll call.
run it, Heather?
Oh, Heather Moore and I.
Michael Hutnak, aye.
Dick Vandenberg, aye.
Howard D'Amico, aye.
Lynn Mazzoli, aye.
Sandy Kuiper's aye.
Okay, so we probably need a motion then to do January 30,
Yeah.
correct?
I
Yeah.
make a motion that we schedule our meeting for January 30, 2024.
Does that give us enough time to
Okay.
post it?
It does. Do you want to make that contingent on Matt being available?
Why don't we schedule it, and then to the extent Matt's not available, then we'll,
Cancel.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, so Sandy moves that we meet on January 30. I will not be here.
I'll second that.
Howard seconds. So roll call vote. Heather, you want to start?
Heather Moore and I.
Michael Hutnak, aye.
Dick Vandenberg, aye.
Howard D'Amico, aye.
Lynn Mazzoli, aye.
Sandy Kuiper's aye.
Okay, so can you contact Matt on that, Gene? Or do you want me to?
If you could,
I will do that, yeah,
and CC me on it.
yeah.
So that's for next Tuesday, right? Okay. I wonder if we have any other business tonight.
We have minutes.
Well, that's not bad. I bet you're going to make 8 o'clock though, Dick.
Well,
Could happen.
so would everybody look at their minutes?
Everybody sign
I
these?
sent you a copy
Yes.
That was from the 12th.
of December, yeah.
Yep, I read them on the computer.
Dick, I didn't do my homework. Can I copy off you?
I do have some hard copies.
Some here, if somebody needs them.
You want to give one?
You make a good partner, Gene.
We try.
Oh, double-sided. Sandy, did you get a chance to read them over?
No, I have not.
You want a copy real quick?
Yes, please.
Down to Sandy.
I was reading on my phone.
Thank you,
and
Jane.
it's Very small.
Yeah, I looked at them.
You weren't Mussolini again, were you?
No, no. It was here, H-E-R-E instead of
Oh, okay.
H-E-A-R.
There's a wow. It's funny what names, looking at what names.
Lynn, do you want to make a formal observation of that typo?
Do I really need to?
Or just a note to our secretary? Okay. So any discussion, anybody on the minutes of December 12, 2023? And if we approve these, then we're all caught up with our minutes. So no sign of Carol yet on Zoom. She was going to try to make it. And I did hear from Ryan Hogan, and he couldn't make it, so that's, he did let me know.
If we get a way to make sure he's got quick turnaround on notice for next Tuesday.
I'll get a hold of him.
Just make sure.
Yep.
Right? Otherwise, we would know.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of December 12. Anybody?
So moved.
Okay, so Mike moves, we approve December 12, 2023.
Seconded.
Seconded by Howard. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. We'll do
Nope.
roll call. Yep. Once you start, Heather.
Heather Moore abstain.
Michael Hutnak, aye.
Dick Vandenberg, aye.
Howard D'Amico, aye.
Lynn Mazzilli abstained.
Sandy Kuiper's aye.
So we have
2 abstentions.
four yeses and 2 abstentions.
Yep.
Okay, motion carries. And then I emailed everybody earlier, I'm working on a couple paragraphs for the annual report, so if you think it needs some editing, just let me know, and I
Is the
think it's
fiscal
fine.
year correct? It says as we look forward to fiscal year 2023.
Right, I was wondering about that
Ooh.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Lisa,
25, right?
I think Lisa will,
Too.
yeah, I'll fix that, so the date is wrong, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
So you want that 2024?
Yeah.
24 or 25?
Oh, yes, 25. Well,
Because we're doing the
this
budget
is-
for 24, or
this is-
25, we're in 24.
But this is the annual report for 23.
So 24 makes sense, I guess.
This is
Unless
the
you-
annual, say that again, this is the report, the annual report for fiscal year
For fiscal
23?
23.
23.
So this is as of 6/30.
So we're looking back to last June?
We do it for fiscal 23, we're preparing that report now. So maybe you just cross out that phrase.
Yeah.
We are thankful.
Gene, we're in the middle of fiscal 24, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're doing the report for 23.
I'd like to talk with a person who decided to have fiscal years off calendar years.
You can thank the state for that.
I think it's not just our state now. right?
No, no,
It's all
it's
over the
not.
place,
It's not.
right? Federal government starts October 1,
Yeah.
right?
And Vandenberg start January 1.
There, yeah.
Trust me, I'm not a fan of it. My company does the same thing, and
What do they
that
run?
puts our audit right
Yeah,
at Labor
right.
Day, so there goes summer
Yeah.
vacations.
What, you September 1?
No, we're July
July
1 is
yeah.
when we start, so we're the same thing as this year.
Yeah, yeah.
But it makes year end
Yeah.
over July.
Right,
So,
right.
when everybody's at the beach, I'm
Yeah.
at the desk.
No, no, I'm not as busy.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah.
Right, right.
What if we put it as we look forward to the new fiscal year?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There
That
you go.
way, next year's chair might be able to use that verbiage.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, if you look at your agendas, I want to just talk about our upcoming schedule. So
Your agenda, I didn't bring mine.
February 13 has been canceled. Now, is it everyone's sense that we would like the department heads to come before us to give us a narrative of where they stand and their issues?
Yes.
Everybody good with that? So Jean, as you look at the dates, February, March, April, what's the latest we can have anybody, given the time period between when the town meeting is on May 6th?
I think the latest would be March 26th.
So that, okay, so we wouldn't even meet April 9 or April 23?
Well, you will for recommendations,
Okay,
but you wouldn't have anybody, all the departments would be here for the public hearing.
which would be on what date then?
That, I don't have the calendar out that far, but I would guess March 26th would be the last time that you have a dialogue with the department.
And then on April 9, would we,
I'm thinking that's, town meeting's
April
May
2.
6th. You got to back,
April
I think
6th,
April 9th would be the latest you could have the public hearing.
Okay. So other years, everybody, we've had police, fire, highway, the school,
See,
From the library.
library, the senior. Do you want to,
Center of age, yeah.
yes,
do
whatever.
we
you
want to
call it.
instruct Jean to just schedule those people as best she can?
For April 9 altogether?
And then the
No,
last
no, no,
one
not
would be...
April 9th, but for like the 12th, the
three.
26th.
March
Yeah.
kind of-
26th.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, kind of
Right.
space them out.
Yeah.
And then on March 12 and March 26, we're actually going to meet in the planning board room.
Okay.
Because the selectmen are pushed off because of the primary is in March.
Okay.
So Jean, is that doable, you think, to just
So-
contact the department heads and,
February 27th would be your first meeting then.
right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. I would probably suggest we get the school in earlier. Usually they're in the following meeting, but I think that's,
Sure.
I would probably get them, I think Ryan showed some interest of having them attend your first meeting. if Ryan won. So I'll see if the school can be first on February 27th. Question is, do you want other departments here that night, or will that fill your night?
Well, I think we have a pretty good record of being efficient with our time. I think if we could do maybe one other department that same night?
Okay.
That would be okay? What do you think, everybody?
Yeah, library's usually pretty simple.
I'm sorry?
Senior center doesn't
Yeah,
take long
seniors,
very much?
yeah, the social center and the library are usually pretty simple, so maybe them with the school,
When does
just a.
Dr. Fitzpatrick come in?
When,
We typically have the schools together.
Right.
Okay, so both schools will be,
but they
Maybe
won't know
that's
their
not bad.
numbers until way late,
I
right?
can reach out and see if they'd be ready for the 27th,
Okay.
and we can keep the schools together.
So we can, you'll be willing to just line everybody up, Jean, as best you can? Okay. So we probably won't meet on April 23 then, correct? That's too close to the town meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to have a conflict with April 9.
Okay, well, we'll carry on as best we can, Howard. So when does the warrant have to be printed and,
I'll meet with Lisa tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's going to be shortly after that. April, you're saying you're not here tonight?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
You could choose to go on a Monday if you,
I didn't schedule it. I didn't schedule the conflict, Gene. They don't call me.
Heather, do you have any comment on the dates in February and March as far as trying to get everything set up?
I have no issues, I have no conflicts, so whatever works for everybody, works for me.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good with all the meetings. The town meeting is a conflict.
Well, we will carry on as
You
best
want a
we can.
timeshare? You do the, all right. You do April 9, I'll do the town meeting.
Yeah,
Deal,
okay.
Deal.
Sounds good.
All right, any other comments or questions on the calendar? So just to recap, so on the 30th, we'll try to have a meeting with Matt. We will not meet on the 13th. The 27th, the 12th, the 26th, we'll try to go through the department heads. And Jean, thank you in advance for organizing that. And then the 9th might be when we have it open to the public, you think?
well, that would be a public hearing, so all the department heads should be present as, and if anybody has any
Yeah.
public comment,
And
correct?
we start to vote on the warrants, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that,
Oh,
yeah.
Heartbroken.
Well, Monday is a good.
Okay, I think that's good.
My house.
So I'm going to email Matt about the 30th, and Ryan the same, is that? Okay. Anybody else have anything for us?
Yes.
Howard?
Question, do we know for a record whether Matt's got a budget?
I don't.
Okay.
Have you been to SharePoint?
No.
I know he was working on it, I don't know if it's fine.
I haven't logged on to SharePoint for a while, so.
We don't know if we don't believe that he's pitched anything yet to Board of Selectmen, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
And you're meeting prior to the board.
Okay.
All right.
I have one follow-up question.
Okay.
On a typical, like March 12th, last year you tried to limit them to 10-minute intervals. How optimistic are you going to be this year?
15?
15? So I could do at least 4.
Yeah, I think so.
Public safety here in one night. Okay?
We're going to try and run them the 13th and the 27th, right, other than 2 schools. So whatever we can get.
Because they will have done their number crunching with Matt, and
Yeah.
for us, it's give us a narrative of where your department is and so on and so forth.
So 15 minutes apiece. Okay?
Yeah. I really want to do this top-down this year from Matt and the budget versus what the departments, they may then be faced with questions from us as to why you've got this special request in,
Right.
right?
And that was our hope for tonight, was to.
Right, for Matt to
start
give us
with
that
Sure, yeah.
Cliff
Well,
Notes.
we'll cover that next week if we can. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah, and I have a request. If a department is requesting any new staff, I would like to see an outlay of a reason or we call it an SBAR, but I don't know what others would call it, like the reasons that they need additional staff, like the savings, like, we have this much in overtime, so that we can sell it to the town more, rather than, oh, we want to add this. This was cut many years ago, we need it back. I want to know why. What are the financial reasons that we need to add staff back?
So Sandy, would you like, prior to the meeting?
If they
department
came
heads to
prepared.
Type something up and then share it even
Yes,
before the meeting?
yes, I would like a good financial reason for adding additional
So you have
staff.
time to read it over before the meeting?
Yes, that would be-
Is a doable thing, Jean, you think?
I think if there's any staff increases, you'll get an explanation from the town administrator as to why there's additional staff being proposed.
Okay, thank you.
And then that would be the time to ask those kind of questions, maybe.
Great.
Okay.
And then ask Matt to follow up
Yes.
with the department.
Yep, thank you, yes.
And then I would just add, there was a couple of things in actually those last set of minutes that had been requested, particularly about school choice
Yeah,
numbers,
Carol
reserve fund numbers, what was in the budget for those, what do we have for reserves for those, what have we used the past 3 years of some of those reserve figures, so just again, when we request the schools to come in, or any of the other departments, those things that we talked about in the previous minutes, to make sure that they're aware to come ready to discuss at the table, and that way we don't get, I don't know what that number is off the top of my head, kind of.
Excellent, yes.
So Mike, would that be a kind of thing you could ask Matt too, or you'd
Well,
have to ask?
I don't know as if Matt would necessarily, he might know that, but I'm not sure, because if you go back and look at the minutes, they were in the ones that we just approved tonight. I believe it was Carol had asked for the last 3 years
I
of the
see.
school choice in and out numbers, and then I had asked about the reserve funds that the school had, because it pertained to like what Matt was saying of, how much the town has pitched in
Right.
towards the school increases or the school request for increases, and then what they've used of their own reserve funds to supplement if the town wasn't able to come in and meet all of their wants and needs in their own budgeting. So to get an idea of what the past 3 years of their ending balance in the reserve fund at the end of the fiscal year, and then what they used during the course of the past 3 years of reserve funds.
Heather's raising her hand.
Yeah, Heather.
It's a recommendation that you have Matt needs to send a formal request over to the schools to request that information for them to bring it to us on the finance committee. That's the appropriate mechanism for doing it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Then it's got to be a formal request through Matt here at a meeting? Okay.
Matt or the chair of the finance committee?
Did you
A
hear?
request by the finance committee of Matt,
Yes.
Matt, she said.
right? A request by finance of Matt to get that information
Right.
from school committee.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we've, in my
We've
opinion,
already done
we've
it.
already done that. That
Right.
formal request is in the minutes from
Right.
December 12th. So my note tonight is more or less just a reminder that when Matt invites them, or whoever invites them, whatever that vehicle is, that they will bring that request or transmit that request to come to the table with those numbers.
And we should remember to remind Matt of that next week, maybe.
Yeah, we can do that next week, so.
Does that make sense, Heather?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, anybody else as we either look ahead at the schedule or think about next week? Gene, anything else for FinCom right now? Are we ready to adjourn then?
Just a request that,
Okay.
once we know about Matt's availability, we get an email either way.
For next week, you mean?
Dick's going to.
So
Okay.
I'll be on that, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
We have a motion to adjourn, Mike?
So moved?
Seconded by Lynn. Thank you.
I was going to say that.
So we do a roll call vote to adjourn. So Sandy, why don't you start?
Sandy Kuiper's aye.
Wayne Mazzulli, aye.
Howard D'Amico, aye.
Dick Vandenberg, aye.
Michael Hudnak, aye?
Heather Moore and I.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:37.